Hey, how many of you have been on a flight? What's the last thing they say before you kind of pull back and take off? You know, they've come and done their safety demonstration and they try and, they show us how to do the seatbelt. Like, who doesn't know how to do a seatbelt on an airplane? And they talk about 2 to the rear, 2 here, and all that. And then what's the last thing? At the end of the whole presentation, after they said, be careful because you might die in a crash, and make sure you still breathe, and make sure when the oxygen, you're kind of, oh my goodness, it's a little scary. Then they say, now sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. Hey, Rich Lively here with CliffPickleball, the best pickleball instructional videos on earth. Hey, what's one of the most stressful things about pickleball? It's getting stuck in the no person's land. Hey, you know what? It's not called the no person's land. It's actually called the transition zone. What you're going to do is you're going to play a lot of your points in your games in the transition zone. The goal, though, is to get out of there and get back to the net. Watch any good pro match. You will see them going up and back as they go in and out of the transition. But you know what they do? They don't worry about it. They don't get stressed. They don't get tense. They don't grip their paddle like they're going to squeeze the handle off. You know what they do? Just like being on an airplane. They sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Today, that's what we're going to teach you. How can you, in the transition zone of pickleball, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride? Let's get going. So one of the things we can learn from other sports, because pickleball, they say it's a mixture of tennis and ping pong and badminton, and it's true. There's one thing we can learn from volleyball. If you've ever played volleyball, especially on the beach, you see those great beach volleyball players, watch the Olympics, and you see they've got a nice wide stance, and they get down nice and low. Now, the thing about this in pickleball is it helps us reset the ball better in this transition zone. Again, it's kind of like that sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. How many of you in the transition zone, when you come forward, look like this when you're trying to reset the ball? You're standing straight up, your legs are close together, your knees are hardly bent, you're bent over like this, and the paddle is usually in the wrong position. So let me show you what happens when you try and reset the ball from the transition zone there with a tight grip and way too tense. Cliff's gonna hit me a few balls and I'll show you the difference when I'm coming in and all I'm doing is kind of standing like this, then I'm really having a hard time. Now I'm still trying to get him in, but the more that I do, you see how many of us hit him into the net or we hit shots like that because we're standing too stiff. Now watch the difference when I get down in an athletic position. See how I'm ready? What I'm gonna try and do is I'm getting to the net is come one step at a time and keep coming. And again, like volleyball, I'm gonna be down low and I'm gonna hit a split step every time another paddle comes forward. But look how low I am and look how wide my legs are. And there we go. So again, let's just real quick review that. If you come in the transition zone and you've got white knuckles on that paddle, which means you're gripping it too tight, and you're standing too tense like you're afraid and out of tension, you're gonna have very inconsistent shots. You might hit 1 or 2 back over, but most of the time, you're gonna hit a weak shot up in the air and your opponents are just gonna cram the ball down your partner's throat. And that's what you don't want. Does anybody remember Space Invaders from the 80s? Remember, remember they went across and they went really slow? It's really kind of like that. When you're in the transition zone, trying to get to the net so you can win the point, it's kind of like Space Invaders. Watch this again as I come forward. Here I'm the Space Invader. I'm the Space Invader. I'm the Space Invader. See, every time I'm just coming in one at a time. I'm kind of like the big old bear that's lumbering in. I'm trying to give you a lot of examples here to make you laugh. The main thing though is you see as I'm coming in, I'm not coming in like this. Okay, I'm not the scared rabbit with my paddle all tight like, oh, I hope I don't screw up this point. I'm just relaxed. I'm sitting back enjoying it. I hit a shot, I come in one more. I hit another shot, I come in one more. I hit another shot, I come in one more. Every time my legs are wide, my knees are bent, I'm forward on my toes, not my heels, and I've got my paddle low like a volleyball player. If you'll do these things, you'll find that when you play pickleball, you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the game. Now have a nice flight. We'll see you next time on Cliff Pickleball.